I started streaming on Twitch in my free time in between reviews, so if you want to watch me play games live or just hang out and talk about games, then follow my Twitch in the description down below, and you can also join my Discord, which is also in the description. How's it going, guys? Luis here, and the Nintendo Switch has way too many indie games on it lately. At least that seems to be the general uproar as of this morning. In the last few weeks, Nintendo of America and Nintendo of UK both held their own separate Nintendo Directs focusing on indie games, where they announced both ports of really old but pretty well known indie games and some new ones too. Games like Bastion and Hyper Light Drifter, as well as new games like Untitled Goose Game and Mineko's Night Market. Now, upon looking through my Twitter timeline and looking at all the reaction videos to the Direct this morning, it seems like the general complaint is that there's too many indie games on the Switch that feel the same, usually consisting of a 16-bit art style in the Metroidvania genre or just an indie game that's really old. This kind of confused me because a lot of the complaints were from the same people that were cheering on how Dead Cells was really great on the Nintendo Switch despite it being a 16-bit Metroidvania game, and cheering that Hand in Time is finally coming to the Switch about a year later after it came out on PS4 and Xbox One and PC. How does that work? Are you complaining or cheering? I don't get it. Now, that's not to say that I'm here to protect the Nintendo Switch, because it certainly does have an oversaturation of indie games lately, but to say that it's a bad thing I think is a bit of an exaggeration. If anything, I agree with my buddy Dan, who thinks it's more of a shop problem of not being able to find all the new indie games coming out because there are just so many damn good ones, and searching on the Nintendo eShop isn't the best. I mean, hell, the PS4 is barely getting a full-size keyboard on the PlayStation Store, so that console's like, what, 5 years old now? I also watched my buddy Dreamcast Guy's take on the matter, and while I do agree that there's a lot of 16-bit art style Metroidvania games, I mean, I would know because I reviewed a lot of them this year, I still don't think it's an issue without reason. We're on year 2 of the Switch, only a year after the brand new 3D Zelda and Mario were released at the launch of the console. Of course we're not getting another one this year. Do you expect a new Uncharted or God of War game every year? We're still getting a new Mario Party, Pokemon, and Super Smash Bros. This year. To those saying that Pokemon Let's Go isn't a real Pokemon game, I completely disagree. I may not be the target audience, heck I might not even like the game, but just because it's not the traditional game I'm used to, it doesn't mean it's not a major first-party release. I mean, it's basically an HD 3D remaster of a game that a lot of us grew up playing. Not having the traditional capture system doesn't change that. Sure, we got a lot of collections and ports at the start of the year, but next quarter we're pretty much getting a major release every single month, and that's not including third-party support like Dark Souls, Starlink, and more. Now back onto the topic of indies, they're selling incredibly well. People are buying them, people seem to want them. I mean, I have an account on the eShop for North America, the UK, and Japan, and every single one of them has at least mostly indie games at the top chart. And if you're watching this video and you're not from any of those regions, please go check the eShop, check the top charts, let me know how many of those top 6 are indie games. Let me know in the comments down below. They're selling, and most of the time they're outselling the launch of other platforms from years ago. I mean, it makes sense to put them out on the Switch then. I mean, the same people complaining of old ports are the same people saying, oh, I've always wanted to play this game, but I missed it out on the PS3, 360, PS4, and Xbox One despite owning those consoles and them being cheaper on those consoles. I'll buy it on the Switch because I can play it on the go at full $60 price. What? Ultimately, I agree. There's a lot of indie games on the Switch, and yeah, a lot of them are 16-bit Metroidvania games. But there's still plenty of others too that aren't retro-styled, like Overcooked 2, Mulaka, Just Shapes and Beats, Paladin, Sleep Tight, Brawlout, Fury. There's a lot out there. Why is there so many indie games now? Well, we just don't have another Zelda and Mario game this year. We had a bunch of indie games last year too, I just think it's more noticeable now because we don't have that major 3D Zelda or Mario game this year. But that's not to say that next quarter isn't packed with big releases either. What about third-party support? Well, that's actually been getting better too. I think third-party devs are only just realizing how popular the Switch is. I mean, we're only in year 2 of the device, and now we're starting to get date-and-date releases with other platforms like Ubisoft's Starlink and Bethesda's Doom Eternal. That's my gaming hot take on the topic. Of course, if you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below. I won't ignore you just because you disagree with me or delete your comment. The whole point of this series is for discussion, so if you say something in the comments, chances are I'm probably going to reply. I mean, that's pretty much a tradition here on my channel at this point. It's a meme of sorts. That's it for me though. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more videos every single week, and I'll see you all in the next one.